In 6 months' time, Glasgow is due to host the COP26 climate talks. It's a crucial meeting on the future of the planet involving leaders from all over the world. Their aim to agree on coordinated measures to tackle climate change, but the challenges are huge, as our science editor David Shukman explains.
It all begins with this stuff, coal, which is basically ancient plants squeezed together over millions of years. When you burn it, you get a useful source of heat, which in fact powered the Industrial Revolution. But you also get carbon dioxide, a gas that acts as a kind of blanket in the atmosphere. At this power station, West Burton A in Nottinghamshire, they've been burning coal since the 60s. There are thousands like it around the world, generating electricity but also changing the climate. Over the last 2 centuries, a growing volume of carbon dioxide has been released from power stations and factories, vehicles and homes. So emissions keep rising. The result of all this is that the planet has been heating up, and it's striking to see how scientists have managed to track how that's been happening. This record of temperatures over the last 2,000 years uses data from tree rings and ice cores, and more recently from thermometers. Below average most of the time, but shooting up in the last few decades. But what if things don't get sorted? If world leaders gathering in Glasgow later this year don't manage to turn things round? Well, projections show that the more temperatures rise, the greater the risk of dangerous impacts, with some regions facing more intense droughts, potentially damaging food supplies, and others increasingly struck by floods, especially on coasts as sea levels rise. So scientists say that action is needed right now.
If we just talk about these things, we're going to pass the threshold very quickly. And we can do something if we change policy now, if we start flying less, if we drive less, if we insulate our homes, if we cut the coal and go renewables. We have time to make these changes.
But already the global average temperature is 1.2 degrees above the pre-industrial level, and the Paris Agreement on climate change says we should keep the rise to 1.5 or 2 degrees at most. Right now we're still on course for an increase of something like 3. So what can be done? Well, the UK's last coal-burning power stations will close in a few years' time. The end of the coal era in the UK is a really significant step, but it's only one of a great number needed around the world. And to make them happen, the summit is going to have to signal a real change of direction. David Shukman, BBC News in Nottinghamshire.